What's 7 minus 3? And just like every other kid, right? I'll use my hands. So I'm like, 7 minus 3, 5. And then the class laughs. Well, just like you're laughing now, Patty. And then the teacher says, wrong. You are stupid. You should sit down, shut up, and listen. Yeah, and well, so I did, and I didn't really raise my hand up in class anymore because I'm stupid, right? I have to sit down, shut up, and listen. So that that's just one of the many incidents that really perhaps brought me crashing back down to earth, being afraid to speak up, being afraid.
Hi, kid. Welcome.
Hey, Patty.
How are you?
Good. It's been a week full of life.
Yes, mine too has been full of life. So I won't ask you to elaborate. We're gonna keep this, but I'm with you right there. I'm so happy to have you on the Break Time with Patty show. Dear friend at home, Ken is a speaker I came across while I was binge watching the World Championship of Public Speaking in this past August 2021. And when I started interviewing different motivational or world champion speakers, Toastmasters members a few months ago, I knew I had to invite him. And lucky for us, he said yes. Woo! Without delay, who is Ken? Number one, he is a master communicator. In 2021, 30,000 contestants battled for the title of World Champion of Public Speaking, which is a title that transforms lives. Ken competed and won speaking contests at the club, division, area, district levels until he made it to the top 8 in the world. Oh my God. He was also that same year the District 80 champion in 4 categories, which is huge. He is also a keynote speaker and a distinguished Toastmaster, which is one of the highest distinction a Toastmasters member can obtain at Toastmasters. Number 2, he is a public speaking and leadership skills certified coach. He has trained leaders and professionals worldwide, and he believes that every person has the potential to shine on stage. And his personal mission is to inspire others to inspire and help professionals speak powerfully at work and in life. Whew, I have talked enough. Let's get started. Ken, can you tell us a little bit more about young Ken as a young boy and a teenager, please?
Wow, the first question, and we're going to go deep. Okay.
Yes, I don't waste time, Ken. We got to get, yes.
Okay, I guess maybe as a little kid, maybe my parents did put a lot of effort into making sure that I could have a good, strong foundation in language and music and math and all those other things. So I was kind of like a generally smart kid. I was quite outgoing. But then, of course, school started and everything kind of went south from there. No, it's not the education system's fault, but I remember when I was 7, first day of elementary school in Singapore, right? So my math teacher asked the class, hey, how many of you know the numbers 1 to 10? So me being excited, yeah, me. It's like, okay, you stand up. What's 7 minus 3? And just like every other kid, right? I'll use my hands. So I'm like, 7 minus 3, 5. And then the class laughs. Well, just like you're laughing now, Patty. And then the teacher says, wrong. You are stupid. You should sit down, shut up, and listen. Yeah, and well, so I did, and I didn't really raise my hand up in class anymore because I'm stupid, right? I have to sit down, shut up, and listen. So that that's just one of the many incidents that really perhaps brought me crashing back down to earth, being afraid to speak up, being afraid to, volunteer, really. And of course, things got worse when I entered my teenage years, right? Because for when I was like 15, puberty came to all my friends except me, right? But I was still interested in, people in that way, with all the hormones and stuff. So every time, there's this girl I liked, I would muster my courage and I'll go up to her and say, will you be my girlfriend? And then it seems like all the girls I've ever liked, they kind of got together and had a secret meeting or something, because they would always tell me the same thing. They'd say, oh, you're just like a brother to me. You know, I don't want to ruin our friendship. What if something happened? Yeah, so it's like a script, literally, right?
Yeah.
So you know how when you get rejected again and 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 again, after a while, you just kind of lose that sense of self, right? You lose that confidence. And I thought that I'd be forever alone. You know, I never thought I'd amount to much. And then, of course, in Singapore, when we turn 18, we have to do national service. So it's like conscription. We served in the armed forces for 2 years. And so there I was at the doctor's office getting a physical. And the doctor asked me, so do you want to be a commando? I'm like, what's that? Like, do I walk around without underpants or something? He's like, no, like you're going to be an elite soldier, right? So there I was, this short kid with a squeaky voice, pimples, and, you know, not really looking manly. I was like, can I really? I mean, well, since the girls don't want me, you know, I might as well do something dangerous, right? Give it a shot. Let's just see how far I can go. So I told him, I'll try. And that was actually the beginning of my transformation, because even though in the army, you can imagine it wasn't easy, right? Being tortured here and there, having whatever confidence I have left shredded. It got to the point where they had these motivational quotes on the wall, like it or don't like it, take it positively and move on. Or tough times don't last, tough men do. And this one's my favorite. Pain is good, extreme pain is extremely good. So somehow, I mean, I'm not saying that pain is good, it hurts, right? But when you can push through that pain, you know, it means that you're growing, you're becoming someone better, someone bigger. And then I found myself becoming a commissioned officer, right? And right now I do serve once a year as a captain in the Armed Forces Commandos. But my point is this, it's through that journey where, despite having been rejected so many times for so many things, just daring to try once again. Yeah, and that trying has brought me far, right? It's got me a career in coaching. It's got me to the World Championships of Public Speaking. It's got me a fiance. It's got me, yeah, a life that I really am thankful for. So maybe that's the Kin story, right? Just daring to try.
Wow, this is beautiful, Kin.
Did I take too long?
Wow. You were not joking around when you said we're going in deep. I didn't realize you would answer that. You could have said, I drove, you know, I rode my bicycle or whatever, but no, you gave it to us. So that was awesome. Thank you for sharing so candidly. Wow. So would you say that you were a shy kid? So I guess you were, because you had low self-esteem. So you were shy and you were in a shell, right? That's what I gathered from what you said. So
I was like this, I was a happy ball of fireworks. And then, you know, the more years of school I had, the more, you know, contained I became.
Okay. Yeah. Until you were able to find some kind of new purpose in being a commando.
Yeah, in some sense. And even then I wasn't very open as well. I mean, I was thinking, how could I possibly be like that elite soldier? You know, how could I possibly speak and lead when I don't have that kind of confidence? And I guess that's where Toastmasters came in. Yes. And it really helped me open up and find myself, like who I really am.
That's amazing. Because when I saw that your title, like VideoCommando, I thought it was like a name, you know, like just a cool name. I didn't realize you were actually one. So actually, before I even asked you about Toastmasters, why did you choose to study in the field of economics and then of business administration and management? Let me ask.
Okay, so like my degree choices, honestly, okay, why econ? It was because, to be honest, I didn't know what to study, right? After we call it ORD, after becoming an operationally ready national serviceman, right? I had to register for college, and honestly, which 21-year-old really knows what they want to do with their life? Come on.
None.
So I decided, you know what? I'll probably study something that makes money, that isn't too difficult. I guess economics would be it. And then, of course, I graduated in 2008, and we know what's happening in 2008.
Yes.
Yeah. So interesting turn of events that kind of brought me into coaching. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Well, I'm happy. 2008. No, I'm just kidding, because a lot of people lost a lot of money. But anyway, I'm happy that you're here coaching. Let's just put it that way. Great. So what was the turning point that made you decide to go, all right, I'm going to go visit a Toastmasters club for the first time?
So it was in this course that I had attended. It was called Mission to Millions. I don't know if you've heard of a peak potentials training. So I attended some of their courses, and during that one course called Mission to Millions, which was about how to monetize on your passion. I mean, back at that time, I was actually sitting with my dad every day trading the stock market, right? Because, you know, after 2008, he said, you know what, don't work, I'll teach you how to trade. So there I was, but every day I'm listening to my dad and talking to my dog, because my dog doesn't talk and my dad doesn't listen, right? So that wasn't very fun. I don't really like numbers as much as I like people. And so going for that course with some friends, I met this guy there, distinguished Toastmaster Koen Tan. And I didn't know he was a Toastmaster, but when he stood up and shared with the class, he shared something really deep, very raw, very authentic. And I thought, wow, here's this grown like man, like, you know, powerful and everything. And yet in that moment, he was sharing something so vulnerable from his past that, you know, he started moving people around him to tears. I thought, wow, you know, people don't talk about vulnerability like that. Like, people don't just reveal their deepest, darkest secrets like that. There's something about this guy. So I went to speak to him, and well, he said he's a Toastmaster. I should check out his club. So I'm like, yeah, you know, why not? And that's where it all began. That was about 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Were you like one of those terrified kind of person going in, or did you go all in right away? Or were you like long to do your icebreaker and to talk in table topics and stuff?
I think I got over the terror fairly quickly. I mean, that there's still the, you know, palms sweaty, knees are heavy and all that, whatever. But it's still there, but I know that I can do it, right? So the more you do it and the more frequently you kind of get into it, you just get the reaction. You're like, okay, yeah, that's just me being me, and you just carry on, right? Yeah. So thankfully I didn't cry on stage. Well, except during you know, emotional speeches, but that's besides the point.
Yes. Good. Very good. Yes, me, I went all in because I was shut down for many, many years, actually. And I didn't have my voice. I never spoke up. I was very insecure, very low self-esteem. My goodness, no self-love even. So I never spoke because I would stutter and speak too fast, and people never understood me. So I struggled. But when I started joining, just in May 2021, I joined in, and it just changed my life. And people, they don't understand. What's that? Pardon?
Just 1 year?
Yeah, I just joined. Wow. Recently, and oh, you like how I talk, kid? Woo! Yes, yeah. It was my May 1st was my first year anniversary, so it just changed my life forever, and I can't shut up now to the point that I even have shows to talk to people. So definitely, it's a game changer. But Toastmasters gives you what you put into it. You could also just join a club, sit back, observe, and do nothing, or you can just go all in and learn the roles and take roles. And that brings us to, why did you decide to start competing? You can also compete to take it to the next level. Why did you start competing? Like, why not just, you know, participate in roles, and why take it to the next level?
Well, the way I see it, I don't think anyone joins Toastmasters to be a Toastmaster, right? They join it to get something out of it. So very often, and perhaps I felt this too, I got really comfortable in my club because they're super supportive and they're always cheering loudly, even if it's a crappy speech, right? And they're still all smiling. See, it's okay, you can do it. And I guess it kind of got to the point where I didn't know if I was improving or not, right? I did kind of feel like maybe I'm plateauing. And of course, it helped that there were some giants in my club, you know, and they're always, you know, regular features in the district and the division and things like that. And I'm like, you know what? I want to know if I'm better than them. I want to see what I can do. And so I kind of made a mental note to just take part in every single contest that there was. So I've done that, well, except for 2 contests. I've taken part in every contest that I could. And what I found in that process is, if you don't feel the nerves before your speech in your club, you're still going to feel it during the contest because it's a contest, right? And isn't that the whole point? to put yourself in a pressurizing situation and know that you can rise above it, so that you can bring that skill to work, you can bring that skill to whatever, a proposal, bring it to talking to your mother-in-law, whatever, right? And that's the point. So I keep competing to see how far I can go, how far I can push myself. And every time I contest, I learn something and I grow. So if you came to Toastmasters for growth, keep contesting.
That's so beautiful. Oh, all right. So, Kin, I need to move on to your World Championship speech, best burger ever. It was so original, hilarious, and inspirational. And having struggled with relationships for decades, I could totally relate. So thank you for sharing this beautiful message. I won't give any spoilers. Definitely, please go see it. If you have not seen it, it's really amazing. Can you share with us what went through your mind when you found out that you had made it through the first championship round in 2021? Were you surprised when you made it through the final 8 out of 30,000 outstanding contestants?
Yeah, it's always a surprise because everyone's speeches were so good.
Mhm.
I mean, there's no real objective scale you can use to say, oh, which speech is better than another. I mean, that's my personal take, because every speech it's original, it's heartfelt, and I think there were some speeches that shocked me and some that did make me cry as well. So I would say pleasantly surprised, but I was glad that I had a chance to share more with the world. Yeah, still a surprise.
Yeah. So, okay, from that, I'd like to ask you 2 questions, because the thing is, when I watched the reason why I even started my YouTube channel is because because I was sick, right? So I watched the entire, I would have never had time to watch the entire, I saw all your speeches. In August, I saw all your speeches. So, and actually you're the 7th of the 8 of the top 8 that came to the show actually right now. Okay. And you all had amazing, powerful messages, your own stories that you shared. And often, like, people, and what shocked me is that Verity Price, which I love Verity, woo, Verity, she won. But then what about so the spotlight goes on her, and then what about all the other people? So this is why I decided, you know what, I'm going to start sharing my journey, my messages now. I don't want to wait to become world champion one day in 10 years. I want to just share my messages now. Like Daryl Pace, with the Shomoto, you, and like all of you, Errol and Roger and Nitai, Yair. So you all have wonderful messages. But what we see often is the winners, like in the Olympics, right? The winners take all the glory. But what about all the other people? So I recently did it because I competed myself for the first year, because all the world champion, like Darren Lacroix and Mark Brown and all these guys, Mohamed Katani, or even, they all told me, you know what, you should compete. Even Ramona J. Smith, compete to become better. It's not to win, just compete for the growth. So I said, I'm interviewing all those world champion speakers. Why not try? So I tried, and my club did not compete. So I went to the area level for the fun of it, and I won. And I was like, oh my God, what just happened? And then I went to the division level, and I had put all this pressure on myself, and I didn't make it, which is fine, actually. Great things came out of not making it. But then I decided, you know what, let me share a post. Nobody does this. They don't talk about their failures. People, they get angry or bitter or whatever, they disappear. But I said, I'm going to make a whole thing of this. So 8 signs, I had a post called 8 signs that you, why I did not make it to my division contest, or something like this.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. So Daryl Pace got with me, and we did a whole analysis in a video, actually. And a lot of people commented and sharing their own journey. So I'd like to ask you if you have any words of encouragement for people who compete, because I don't know how many times you competed, but surely sometimes you didn't make it, and you made it to the top 8, but you didn't make it to the top 1. So what can you tell somebody like me and all the other contestants that are competing for August now? There'll be a new world champion. So what can you tell them from your experience, please?
Well, there's so many things I want to say. Where do I begin? Okay, I think first off, maybe the most important thing to remember is whatever the result, you've already won. And I don't say this as a way to console you, because it is what it is. You either won or you didn't, right? But why did you compete in the first place? So, like, for me, why I compete is because I want to grow. I want to be better. And if I can, to have a chance to share a message with the world that I hope will inspire them to inspire, right? That's part of my life mission. So even though I didn't win any of the top 3 spots, did I get to speak to the world? I did. And that was about a message about building that burger together, which, funny as it was, it's something that I really felt strongly about, because the root of why I chose that speech was that I just felt there was so much discord in the world, so much disharmony, so many arguments, right? Whether it's about vaccines or not, whether it's about this or that, war and peace, I don't know, whatever. But everyone, I think, has felt the stress of life and how the world was becoming more divided. And if we're just going to insist that we want to do things our own way, then everything breaks down. Every relationship breaks down if you're not building it together. And that was really the concept behind that burger. I just wanted to try, doing a speech with food, right? So that's what happened. And I got sick of burgers, have not eaten one since. Sorry, correction. I ate one 2 days ago, but it's been 6 months since I had a last burger. Anyway, my point here is, if you didn't win, that's okay. Even though I'm sure you might feel upset, you might be angry with the judges. You might say, oh, they don't know what they're doing. Inexperienced, blah, blah, blah. Sure. So what if they are? What that just means is your message and the value that you were trying to bring across didn't land for them. So rather than think about, whether it was fair or not, or whatever all that means, ask yourself, what can you do to really communicate a powerful message that goes beyond borders, goes beyond demographics, goes beyond context, beyond race, religion, anything else. Just goes down to being human and touches the heart and shifts the mind. Right? So just a point of note. In fact, just last Saturday, right, Sunday, it was my district contest, and I performed my semi-final winning speech. And I thought I had it in the bag, but I didn't. I came in second. So now it's really humbling, right, to fall from top 8 in the world all the way down to district second place. And was I upset? Yeah, I'm still human, But like, thinking back about it, like, what were the reasons? What could I have done better? Now I'm kind of past it, thinking about whether or not it was a fair contest or whatever else it is, because that doesn't matter. What matters is, did I grow from the process? And I did. I did, because I tried something different that I wanted to try. I wanted to speak in a more conversational, local voice that's really true to how I sound. I wanted to try just relaxing and not being so precise about the words that I've memorized. I wanted to try and see how far I can take a message. And I got my answers. And now I'm looking forward to going back to the drawing block just to come up with a new message. So was I sad? Yeah, but don't dwell on it. Remember that army quote, like it or don't like it, take it positively and move on. The world's not going to wait. Don't wait too long, right? Move on.
Ooh, that's thank you for sharing this. Yes, I totally anyway, I cannot imagine in your shoes, because yes, honestly, because I've asked that question to a few world champions who made it to world champion, and then the next event or keynote event, they messed it up. And it's humiliating, because people expect you to speak gold, out of your mouth. You're spitting gold out of your mouth because you're in top 8, you're a world champion. So I don't understand that level of, but I love the humbling and the humility of it. I understand, because I lived it myself, because I went public with it. All right, guys, I'm going to be competing. And then I messed up, but it's okay, because I learned so much out of it. There's so much, and it sounds really cliche, but there's so much growth in failure. I love it. And I want to fail often, because I cared so much about those things growing up. Just keep, the ego is the ego that gets in the way, right? That wants to be on top. So anyhow, so I'm happy you're going to continue contesting. Can you share, because I don't think people understand this necessarily, what can you think contesting brought to you? Like, how did it make you better, Ken?
Whoa, there's really so many ways. First, of course, is learning how to deal with pressure. Second, learning how to climb up again from defeat. And third, maybe this one was not something that I expected, but I got when I started contesting at the highest levels. So at the highest levels, you'll be crazy if you think you can do it without a coach, honestly. That's how I felt about it. So I got myself 2 coaches and I started working on my speech, which of course was raw. I thought was good. But from that speech, I got to see a lot of things, because when you only have 5 to 7 minutes to squeeze an idea with feelings and descriptions and excitement and sadness and happiness and all those things in, you have to be very concise, because you exceed that by 1 second and you're out, right? You don't want to go over time. So looking at how I could craft an idea, what's said, what's not said, and put it all in a sentence to deliver a message, that's a skill that I got after coaching for speaking contests. And yeah, since then, people have remarked that I can be quite concise with my answers and I don't, beat around the bush, literally. So I think if you find that people think you're long-winded or people keep trying to interrupt you while you're talking, maybe it's because you're not getting to the point. And that might be perhaps the best reason to just contest, so you can be sharp and precise with your words.
Yes. Ooh, I struggle with that. And this is the improved version after a year of Toastmasters, but there's still a way to go. We're never done growing at Toastmasters, because I used to go on and on and on. And I think I got this from some people in my family. My stories are long. It's just the thing we do. We're like storytellers. So we can just stay there and talk forever. Yes. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, you were very, very concise. That's what I noticed during the whole interview. So it's wonderful, and it's more memorable that way, because you're always speaking threes, the power of 3. You always have the 1, 2, 3 points. I bet you that's why you probably won the table topics contest many times. You must have a lot of awards, Kin, right?
A lot of, yeah, I actually do, I think.
You have a whole collection or something? You have a wall?
Yeah, I do, but I don't have a picture with me right now.
Oh, it's fine. Just send it to me after. I'll display it on the screen.
Okay, sure.
Yes, and wonderful. So as an introvert person yourself, I think you call yourself an introvert, what would you like to tell someone who is extremely camera shy and incapable of speaking in public?
I would say, I believe that everyone has value to share. Now, whether or not we feel like we do, that's just our feelings. And sometimes our feelings, well, they're just there to protect us, isn't it? The same way if you see a big fire, maybe it's scary because you don't want to get burned. So this concept of why public speaking might be scary or why crowds may be scary, yeah, it still does scare me. By the way, before I speak, like in a contest, I still actually vomit. I literally have to go to the bathroom and vomit for like a couple minutes or so. It still happens. But instead of, succumbing to it and just feeling all icky, which it is a bit, I tell myself, all right, now all the icky stuff is out. Whatever is left is pure gold. I'm ready. So it's really about believing that there's something in you that only you can share, right? There's something in your experience, the way you felt it, that's going to make a difference for someone else. Now, whether or not you think it will make a difference, that's just your thought. Do you know if it will make a difference? Can't be sure, right? So share it and then you'll know.
Oh, you're full of wisdom, Kin. This is beautiful. Thank you. And actually, I'd like to ask you, since you struggle with relationships so much, do you have any advice with somebody like, the geeky teenager or the awkward teenager who just feels rejected, or just a regular human that's always getting rejected and rejected and rejected and just feels like, they're good for nothing, basically, and they'll never amount to anything? What would you like to tell them?
Whoa. That's a big one. I think if there's any of these geeky teenagers who don't feel like they're good enough, I think you might have to start looking deeper to figure out what you're worth. And when I say this, I don't mean that, oh, you're definitely worth something, or, oh, you're definitely worth nothing. But really, it's that concept of, if you think back to a time when you felt powerful, why did you feel that way? What was happening? What helped you feel that way? And so once again, those were feelings, right? And if it was true then, why can't it be true now? If you could do something amazing back then, why can't you do something amazing right now? Life passes, we grow, right? Situations change, we adapt. I mean, life happens and then we grow, literally. So you might not be feeling good enough. You might be feeling down in the dumps. Life, maybe you feel like it slapped you once and then twice after you turn the other cheek. But that's life. And when you stand, it's a choice. It's a choice whether or not you want to be worth something or not. Now, I know easier said than done. It's true. But when you can do it, then that makes all the difference. So if you're feeling low right now, don't feel bad about feeling lousy. If you're feeling lousy, you're feeling lousy, and that's okay. Right? No need for toxic positivity. None of the, I should be better. No, it's okay. It is what it is. If you're feeling down, you're feeling down. Just be with yourself and recognize, okay, I'm feeling down right now. But what do I want to do? Or what can I do that's going to make me feel good? And I'm going to draw a distinction here. A lot of people, when they're down, they do things that make them feel good, right? I'm going to challenge you to do one better. Instead of doing things that make you feel good, do things that make you feel good about yourself. What's the difference? Feeling good is eating a pint of Ben & Jerry's. Making you feel good about yourself is helping someone be better. Or maybe doing something you always said you wanted to do, but never got around to doing, like, packing a room or, going to the gym, whatever. Those goals that you had, those things that you set, anything that makes you feel good about yourself is a great way to grow your sense of esteem, your sense of pride, and your sense of worth. So it's not just about feeling good. Do something that makes you feel good about yourself. I hope that works for you.
I'm going to start right now. That is so profound. Whew, Kin, this is so good. Okay, let me ask you this. You are the founder of lead trainer, and head coach at Coach Kin. Can you tell us a little more about the services you offer, please?
Well, in general, my clients come to me because they either want to present better, they want to communicate better, or they need confidence to be heard at work, right? So these are the main clients I deal with. I also sometimes serve schools. I serve teens, I serve children. I prepare young executives for interview skills. I coach managers who have a specific message that they want to deliver in a powerful way. I've also worked with entrepreneurs who are trying to pitch their business to sharks. So these are just some of the things I do.
Awesome. And okay, one last thing I'm going to try to extract out of you, although we sort of touched a little bit, but if I have to ask you, Ken, what are your best tips for someone who wants to become a phenomenal and memorable storyteller? What would you say?
Best tips?
The best Ken tips.
Maybe I'll try to narrow it down to 3. I realize I can be quite lengthy, so I'm just going to be concise here. Tip number 1, feel it. Feel it. I know school teaches us it's all about content, but public speaking is not just the content. It's about delivering a message in a way that connects hearts. And so if you don't feel it, how is your heart going to connect with your audience? Right? So if you're feeling sad, feel it. If you're feeling happy, feel it. And then you won't have to worry about, oh, my hands need to be here. My face needs to be like that. No, feel it. If you're excited, you're excited, right? If you're happy, you're happy. If you're sad, then just be sad. You don't have to try and pretend and act. That's what a story is. Feel it. Second tip for storytelling, value. Always focus on value. What's the value of what you're saying for the audience? Especially if you're doing this in Toastmasters, you've got a time limit, 5 to 7 minutes. There's so many things in our life that happens that we want to tell in a story, but not everything is going to fit in. So what's the value you want to leave with your audience? Take out all the other things that don't create that value. And the third thing, have fun. If not, what's the point? Right? Have fun telling your story. That's when you're yourself. That's when you're real. That's when your audience connects. And that's when you shift hearts and minds with your story. I know it's not easy, perhaps, to be yourself and have fun. It might not be easy to look at what's valuable. It might not even be easy to feel. And I remember there was a time in my life where it was really difficult for me to feel anything. That was a low point in my life where a lot of things were going wrong. And I literally couldn't feel anything. I thought my heart had turned to stone. Like, I'd hear bad news from family members and be like, yeah, okay, whatever. You know, it was bad. And I started wondering, oh my God, am I even alive? And that hurt so much. So I've started learning how to feel again and experience life in all its highs and lows. And when you can do that, people can relate. And then that's when your stories move. Oof. Do I need to recap that? No, right? I just did.
I'll recap it. Don't you? You did.
Yeah, you
perfect. Yes, I've been taking notes, my friend. Absolutely. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, what is the next step for Kin Ing, please?
Keep contesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because that's how I'm going to keep growing. So at least in speaking, recently I took some classes in public speaking at Harvard because, hey, you know, why not? Let's look at the academic idea of what public speaking is. And I learned a little bit more about speaking, and I got deeper into understanding what shifts people as we communicate. So that was really interesting. I will be working on, of course, building the business, shaping more lives, and hoping that the people I coach will just make a big impact in us, like a huge splash wherever they are. Because I don't want to be someone who inspires my audience and then that's it. No point. I'll inspire my audience to become inspiring. And that way, even when I'm not around, even when I decide, you know what, I'm done for the day, I'm just going to lie down and chill, right? I know that I've left some impact on the world somewhere, somehow. Oh. That's what I'll keep doing.
Oh, yes, Ken, I'll be watching you. And wonderful. Whew. Okay, finally, if someone in the audience would like to reach out to you for your services or to know more about you, what is the best way, please?
Yeah, you can drop me an email, kin@coachkineung.com. You can also get to my email by my website, which is www.coachkineung.com. Or find me on LinkedIn. That works too.
Wonderful. Yes, I think that's how I found you, actually. Great. Oh, thank you so much, Ken. Let me share my main takeaways. Okay, I'll just send just one that just made me laugh, but pain is good. Extreme pain is even better. But that's the joke. Just messing around here. Okay, if you fail, dare to try once again. Also, what stayed with me is if you want to grow, keep contesting. And believe there is something in you that only you can share. Oh, I like this one. If you feel like a failure, look deeper to figure out what you're worth. And do things that make you feel good about yourself, not just things that make you feel good. And the best 3 tips, I have to recap. Number 1, feel it. So feel your message. Number 2, focus on the value that you can bring for your audience. Number 3, have fun and be yourself. Woo. Ken, is there anything else you'd like to share before we part ways?
So soon?
I know, right? It was so much fun. Let's keep talking.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. What else would I like to share? Yeah, have fun. And maybe if you can, there's this one book I was reading on the art of communication. It was written by a Buddhist monk who actually recently passed away, I think in the last year. So he talked about communication through a lens of compassion.
Mm.
And it's interesting because I think very often when we think about what communication is, we think, oh, I must have perfect English, or oh, I must speak in a certain way and enunciate clearly. Well, yeah, that's important. But when we communicate, do we communicate with compassion? Do our words contain love, literally, right? For the people that we're trying to connect with? Or are we just trying to throw our words and force them down other people's throats? So as much as I recognize that speaking is cathartic, if there's something you just need to say, do recognize that what you say does make an impact too. So if you can, perhaps I'd like everyone listening to consider what it might mean to communicate with compassion. Now, I'm not saying tell lies, but just communicate with compassion. Because, with everything that's happening in the world right now, couldn't we all use a little bit more compassion?
Yes. Wow. It's so interesting that you're saying this, actually, because it's so true. Because we're all walking stories. I believe you see humans, well, Singapore, you have a lot of humans around you, for instance, more humans than I have around here in Canada, but everybody's a walking story or movie, or they have a book in them. Everybody, their life journey could literally be shared that way, but not everybody can articulate it properly, right? Which is why I feel so strongly about groups such as Toastmasters. And you can be very clumsy and you can do damage. Like if you don't say the right things, like Rina Romano, she was a thriver. She actually trademarked the word. She was a victim of abuse. That's her whole story. You can watch the interview or her TEDx talk. I'll put the links in the description. But there's a way you can trigger people and you can cause more harm by sharing your story. And this is why it's so important to actually either get a coach or join Toastmasters or whatever, so that you can learn how to say it the right way, basically. And I love that the communication through a lens of compassion, it's beautiful, because when you're speaking with compassion, you won't say anything to trigger somebody or to shove something down their throat. You're going to be considerate of their feelings and where they're at. So that's beautiful, what that Buddhist. But what did you say his name was?
I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a Vietnamese name. I think it's Thich Nhat Hanh. Okay,
Okay.
maybe I'll have to write it down and you can put it in the
Yes. Send me the link so I can put it. Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you so much for coming on the show. What a pleasure it has been.
No, the pleasure is mine, Patty. Thank you so much for having me.
You were worth the wait. I'm happy we're meeting now. And my YouTube friend, thank you for watching. I hope getting to know Kin, this wonderful man, has inspired you to grow and become a better version of yourself. And I will leave you with this. The power of your voice can change the world. Find it and use it. See you in the next video. Bye.